James Plays.
That's me! Hey everybody, welcome back to James Plays Uru. Uru? What's this? Uru? Uru? Notices your bulgy-wulgy. I can't show this guy's bulgy-wulgy because the camera doesn't want to look at the front of him. After I put so much work into the character, you just hate to see him go, but you love to watch him leave. Yeah. Go back to first-person view. So, we left off in the land of big mushrooms. And all the books that we touched out here are now in the bookshelf. This is how it restarts us when we've made no progress. Okay. I'm a bit confused, because there's 4 books out there, and I thought there was only 2 books on the shelf. So I don't... It could just be that I have a bad memory. This is where we got our key. This is where we're going back to. This is where we've got a big puzzle that I may or may not be able to solve now. With all those little rotating things. And this, we just went in for a little bit, found nothing, and left. Which would leave... Don't think we've been here, although some of the architecture looks familiar. And same with this. And then this. May be something else. And then from this book here, we were able to go into a place that had lots of stuff on the walls and hanging and all that. So what I've done is I went back there and I did a recording, a very purposeful recording, so I could get good shots of everything on the walls. And I also used my actual picture thing. Okay, we don't want to take that picture. But I went through and I curated everything. I tried my best to take clear pictures and delete ones that I thought were kind of crappy. Tried my best. Trying to use the in-game mechanics the way this was intended to be played and all that stuff, you know? So, I don't know if it's gonna work. I have problems with the camera, how you try to take a picture and it's from a completely different perspective. But I'm trying. I want to try and play it the way that you're supposed to. And see how that goes. But since I did it as a recording, I was able to take screenshots of that footage to also potentially use. Where I'd be able to zoom in, adjust the brightness, and things like that. So we'll see. I believe we pushed some buttons, pulled some levers and whatnot. We pushed this, and we got this up, and it's rotating. So I'm going to leave that be for now. Also, I'll leave that be for now. I like to push things and see what they do. And then when they don't do anything, I put them back into the default positions. But here, I'm pushing stuff and all the stuff is happening, and I don't really understand any of it. So, maybe I don't push so many buttons and pull so many levers, or we just commit. That don't work. That I can push. And what's this over here? Oh, okay, yeah. I think I remember this now. So that's not like a satellite, it actually has a view on it, and this is our periscope for that. So we could, in theory, stop this. I don't know what it is we're supposed to be seeing here. But let's just do that, I guess. If I can... There we go. So now, it actually is reflected with that. It stopped turning. That's interesting. Okay. It's coming back to me. We're pushing things... But this one does not work. Yeah. Why don't you work? What are any of these supposed to be doing? I don't know. I'd also like this to go away. Can I make this go away? There we are. No, I don't want to go that way. Where do I want to go? We had gotten across somewhere, I thought. But now I'm finding myself confused. There we go. Just take a look around. We came out this way, and I think we played with this lever. And again, things... Wasn't making that noise when I approached it. Then looks like we come to a dead end. Well, that's unusual. That was just by chance. I was like, oh, the cursor changed over there. So I can get back out, or I can get back out. No. I've decided this guy's name is going to be Jerry Grabowski. Jerry Peter Grabowski. Or JPG. So, looks like we would be getting in here, and then it would take us on a magical journey. I'm also... Is it getting darker, or is that just me? So, it stopped making noise. Oh, that just kind of automatically happened? I love that. Okay, noise stopped. Very agile for a 58-year-old man. Okay, so obviously we're supposed to get this thing up and running. And we hop into that, and it takes us on a journey. Somehow. Looks like over this way. And then I'm starting to lose it behind all the mushrooms. And still kind of see the wires up there. But what am I supposed to be doing here, if anything? Completely possible that we do not have the answers yet to do much here, but I'm just trying, you know? This bridge broke, so we can't get over here unless... we can use our super athleticism to grab on or something. Okay. Camera is very interesting from that perspective. Another thing to note about this game is it's very long. Myst, Riven, and Myst 3 were all around 8 to 9 hours. But this game apparently is longer than all 3 of those games combined. So it is entirely possible that it's going to be a while before we start really putting things together and solving puzzles. I am just enjoying the show. Okay. I don't think there's really anything else left to do here at this point in time. But I'll just play with things a little bit more here and see if I can do anything with this. With how these things are positioned, these levers, and then we have these cables here, it's almost like it's like a connection. I don't know. Like, we're not seeing anything. But it's like we could be connecting or disconnecting from those. Something. Well. So I think that's everything that we're gonna be seeing here for now. Actually... yeah, I mean, this definitely feels like a cable and not a pipe. But I was wondering if that might also be something like it could be delivering something back in to a system. And we come back through here, and now we see nothing of it on the inside. There's that. There was this bit of business, which was not working. Still is not working. I think that's gonna be it for Mushroom World, then. For the time being. Just trying to see if there's any other interactables. The other places we went, some of them had those tablets that brought us to those balconies, so I just wanted to see. Okay. Back we go. Now we'll check out the remaining books here. So this feels familiar. Being on a balcony with nothing there. And I'm actually wondering if this is the same one that we used in one of those other books. Because I feel like I was overlooking this portion down here. There was two of them. Two different tablets in two different areas. One of them, there was a tablet up here with things on it. I don't want to take a picture. I want to look at my pictures. This. And the other one had nothing on it. So this was the one with nothing on it. And there's still nothing on it. If it's the same one. If it's something different, I'm not seeing anything. I don't know, I'm just not seeing anything, period. Very confused by those. Speaking of not seeing anything, this is so frigging dark. Can I open up a shade or something? No? Okay. And then it's here. Ooh, a beach ball. That'll bring everything all together for us, won't it? Okay. Did not scare myself this time. But it also did not make a big old clang. What do we got over here? High scores? That's interesting. These are all over 20 years ago. This would have been when the game was released. Assuming this was all already included in the game. But now this is telling stories on me here, and it's revealing how long it's been since I last played. Well. Let us just never look at that again. Welcome to Bevan. For more info, go to the classroom. Okay. We will do that, but let me take a little more of a gander at my surroundings. Don't know what I'm supposed to be gathering from this, except it's kind of showing the concept of playing with other people. But we'll look a little bit longer. Seeing if it's giving any hints or anything. Gonna say it is not. Go up those stairs. This feels like a social place for online, especially with those pictures showing people hanging out. Like, hey, meet me over by the fountain and we'll talk about the stuff we found. And maybe we can help each other solve some puzzles, you know? Especially, like, the classroom. Oh, boy. Alright, I'm not gonna touch any of this stuff here. I'm going to head to the classroom. Let's see if there's some learning to be done. Oh, man, it goes all the way over there, too. So, yeah, classroom first. Okay. Classroom. Whoop. Okay, then. This may be a classroom. Go ahead and open this door, too. Now let some air into this place. It's probably a little stuffy being so closed up. Okay, we're using our key. And this is taking us somewhere. Maybe the classroom. Maybe I stopped short and the classroom was further on, and now we're just in a spooky, dark place. Ferry Terminal and Bevan. That's interesting. Bevan, I'm assuming, would have just taken us back to where we were. So I want to just look at some more stuff. That is going to be our transport again. Caught on something here. Stairs going up. That's blocked off. There's a doorway. Feels very much like that is an important structure, but might not have a way to get there from here. Anything further along? And I do some platforming across shipwrecks. And I maybe get like a little scooter or something that I could traverse these areas a little bit faster. That would also be nice. Like maybe a one wheel or something. Heelys? I don't know. my first impressions, and they are first impressions, we've barely scratched the surface of this whole game. It's just not super good. I don't feel that great about this game. It's still early. There is plenty of time for things to kind of click with me, but right now it's just these big areas that are slow to get through. And the interface is kind of clunky. Like, we have this gate. And it's like, okay, well, clearly it doesn't want me to go through. But I need to get super up close, or I have to make sure I'm in the correct positioning that I can interact with something. So, obviously, yeah, this isn't something I can open. But I have to make sure of that, as opposed to being able to safely assume that. We're jumping around. There's books within books. There's these tablets. There's a thing on the ground here. Hello. Okay, it's been added to my book. That is good. That is less good. I don't know what that would mean. Looks like the lever snapped off, and I can't use that. Which is fine, because that is not in any state to be used. So we've come here. This appears to be the Mushroom Land. And I got a thing, and I don't know what it is, and I can't just go back to where I was. I now have to go all the way back to our starting hub, and then repeat the process. Which also feels not great. Here's we've added another book. There's our terminal. And yeah, we will use that one first. So things just feel kind of slow and clunky. This feels like a game from a point in time. And it's showing its age. And not every game does that. Some games age beautifully. I just don't think this is such a game. But like I said, it's got time to change, kind of give me an opportunity to warm up to it. I mean, this does not work for me, this perspective. But sticking with this, getting around has been better. It's just a very obtuse game. It feels more confusing than the other games. And I don't know if that's really in service of anything except to make it longer. It feels like this was designed to be a social game where you played with others and you compared notes and you talked about the weird things that you found. And then they just made it a single-player game and didn't bring out that multiplayer stuff until much, much later. So it's a repurposed game. It's multiplayer repurposed into single player. And that's something to definitely keep in mind here when it comes to the experience. And it's, you know, the pros and cons of what we're dealing with. Because this is big, open, slow to navigate. You could imagine other players. In fact, they literally showed us that back in Bevan of other players, what that would look like. So a lot of this clunky experience, a lot of this slowness would be more forgivable because there would be more going on. Now, I know. If I'm complaining about this and saying it should be a multiplayer experience, I could go play a multiplayer experience of Uru right now. But I'm not convinced that that would be a good way to play this either. After all, this is much, much later. And I don't know how many people would actually be around. I don't know what that experience would actually look like or really be like. I could go into a place and there's just people there saying like really horrible stuff. Like, hey, nobody's gonna censor us here on the Uru. Oh. See, they could be saying stuff like this over there, you know? No, but, I'm just wary of what would be found there. It could also be a ghost town at this point. And with it being then redesigned, or redesigned to be a multiplayer experience, there would be puzzles, I believe, that require more than one person. So I could just find myself completely unable to make progress. It's also my understanding that the game is opened up more. They let you access a lot more stuff earlier on, which affects the sense of progression. So I could be going to places where the original design was meant for you to not get to those places until later on. So we could go down that way. I do want to look at this. Looks like a light that's broken. Also really, really dark. This looks like an imager that's just totally destroyed. And we're back to here. Okay, what do we find in this area? Speaking of the social aspect of having people around, that's another thing that is concerning to me. What is designed to be an area with puzzles or hints, and what's designed to just be a hangout area? What is something I'm just wasting my time searching when it's just a cool spot for cool people to sit and chat? You know what I mean? I'm just... Right now, I'm very... I don't know what I am. I really don't. I would guess this game was not well received when it was released. Let's just put it that way. Oh, hey, what do we got here? So what did that do? What is this? Is this a puzzle? Or is it, hey, let me light up the mushroom pond place and we will, you know, just hang out there, you know? I'm putting the lights on because it's dark. Well, anyway. I could go back down there. I suppose I will. This... Didn't notice this at first. Oh. Okay, oh, here's the classroom. The DRC has your best interest in mind. Please only use the approved linking books. Look for the stamp. Interesting. Top 10 Heek scores from yesterday are... Dunny Restoration Council welcomes all new explorers. That looks like the Miller Brothers. Maybe they'll come back up. Mm-hmm. Will do. Okay, so it's looping. This is written in a language I do not know. I guess I'm going to have to take a picture of that. We don't bring it with us. And again, is that important? Or is it just atmosphere? Okay, yeah. So I would say this is like the Miller Brothers. And these could be other developers' likenesses from Cyan. Can I take a picture of this? If I can't... then I would say it's not important. If I can't take a picture and I can't copy it into my book or whatever, then it must not be important. Please link to the Garrison Age to pick up your key. We have done that, but now we can now we know what age that was. I see nothing else here. And then if the light isn't on, then it's not going to function. Okay. I will head back down here with all these lights on. And yep, this place is lit up. Sure is. With that, and this mess there, I think we're done hanging out in this place. So, let's return home. And I think we've got one more book to check out. Am I... Okay, yeah. I'm just making sure. I mean, it's another place with a circular area, and I was like, is this where we just went? It is not. Okay. We are faced with this right away. Let us take a... No, why is it I can't figure out how to use this stupid thing? There we go. So this is to take a picture, this is to bring up our past pictures. As it's very easy to tell. Very, you know, super intuitive. And I get a little bit closer and try this. Okay. So we'll do that for now. Looks like it could be a map. Have a way to go here. I think we just got new clothes. It's not exactly what I was suggesting that would be a cool idea. Going to different ages and getting new items and clothing and stuff based on those. But, okay. It's something that's kind of neat, you know. Got a little gasp of excitement out of me, that's for sure. So these are unauthorized linking books. DRC data notebook. Oh, wait, hold on. The Watcher's Sanctuary. Analysis, author Simpson, transcribed from voice recorder. Okay, 2 trips. This is short enough that I think I can read this right now. Okay, where to get started? The room itself is actually pretty simple, and at first glance, doesn't seem to have much to it. Well, for your average explorer, there is actually much more here than meets the eye. Much more, at least as far as history. It's practically dripping off the walls. Fortunately, I dig that stuff. Lucky for you, I'm also better than your average explorer. Might be getting ahead of myself. Structure. Circular room with a number of doorways leading off in each direction. Large staircase. Might need some support work. Leads to an upper level. Okay, this just doesn't work without knowing some of the history and story behind this place. I gotta start there. I've done some translation and talked with Watson. This is great stuff. Alright, the tree off the balcony. I did do a little walking around. I can't see it well. Dark. But it's an old tree. Don't know exactly when it was created, although certain style and material elements suggest as far back as the early 2000s, long before a guy called the Watcher came around. And it's the Watcher that this place was created for, renovated for, and dedicated to from the time it was built in the late 4000s until the fall of Dunny. The Watcher lived during the mid-4000s and spent most of that life on hidden, secluded ages. He wrote a book called Words, a prophetical book. Nostradamus-type guy. Strange. Though it doesn't seem his prophecies caught on real well at first, though through a variety of events. You can ask somebody else if you want to know them all. The guy became more and more popular, then faded, then popular again. You know the deal. There was always a core group of followers, but the overall population wavered. I would imagine depending on how accurate they viewed his visions. Over the course of time, a whole lot of copies of his book were printed. We found plenty of them. As I mentioned, the tree, which I still don't know how to actually get to, was built long before the Watcher. No one at the DRC seems to know exactly what it was for. Best guesses are that the tree was built early on as a representation of the Dunny that had come here, the new tree. They definitely had a thing for trees. Okay. Fair to say, if we remember Riven, the remnants of the Dunny, the Moiety, lived in that big tree. We also did visit an age in Mist 3 that was very organic, plant life, kind of felt like trees within trees. Similar thing here in one of the ages. And I guess the Island of Mist did have those big-ass redwoods. Anyway. So the Watcher comes along and writes some prophecies. They end up becoming pretty popular, and they do deal quite a bit with the tree, as much of Dunny prophecy does. And an unknown guy builds this building with the tree as its focus. Seems like the building was an upper-class lounge or sitting room, pub, something along those lines. The intellectuals come and discuss the philosophies and politics of the day, although there was some homage being paid to the Watcher and his thoughts and ideas. This sanctuary, or whatever you want to call it, stayed successful even while ownership changed. It seems it changed as frequently as the philosophies and religious views of the people. It wasn't until Kadish came along, yes, our good friend Kadish, that the thing really took off. Unfortunately, right before the fall. I've just realized I haven't moved in the past few minutes. I'm standing in a building, giving an analysis of it without moving. Gotta love history. So, back to it. Nice little coves in this place. Wouldn't be bad at all with a cigar and, okay, Kadish in the fall. This guy is really so scatterbrained you'd think I wrote this. Kadish was the last guy to own it, and it seems he did some renovations. This is where the history and current day setup get interesting. The Watcher spoke quite a bit in words about someone known as the Grower. The Grower is prophesied to do a number of things, and it seems there were numerous interpretations of the Grower. Some saw this person as little more than a great lord or king, while others saw this person as a superhuman miracle worker, godlike, conquering time, space, and dimension, and everything else. The views on the grower were as varied as you can imagine. What's important is that Kadish viewed himself as the grower, as the one the Watcher had prophesied about. As a result, he modified the pub to honor not only the prophet, but himself as well. He seemed to be intent on fulfilling as many of the prophecies as he could, so he built this puzzling path of the shell to the tree. Brought the Arcana book here. Kadish was the engineer behind its construction. Brought the Anone book here and claimed that it allowed him to travel through time, back to the Dunny homeworld as it was, as it is, and as it would be. Kadish claimed he wrote the book. All of these things to fulfill the prophecies. Even the times of Dunny were significant because the Watcher claimed to see visions of the past, present, and future. As a result, he wrote what he saw, never knowing if it would occur in the future, had already occurred in the past, or was occurring as he wrote. People flocked to the place. Not only was it the only way to travel through time, but Kadish himself was the only one who could solve the spiral path of the shell and access the tree. In fact, he would demonstrate his ability to anyone who wanted to come and watch. Nightly challenges were held to see if anyone else could access the room. Seems no one ever did, further confirmation of Kadish as the grower. Kadish bragged that the Watcher clearly spoke of how to solve the room in his prophecies, and that anyone could find the solution there. Easy to say when you did build the thing, maybe I don't get something. Either way, good luck reading through all of those and figuring out anything, let alone the solution to some kind of weird Dunny puzzle. So it seems that Kadish ran the sanctuary up to the end. Obviously, at some point we know he died. We've all seen the remains of the poor guy. An odd end for a guy that seemed to have so much. Had a book right there, but didn't use it. But that's another story. Okay, history out of the way, and I guess I should finish with this spiral path room. I'm not a big puzzle guy, but the room seems very confusing. Switch closes the door and turns on the light. Some mechanism releases the ball back to its starting point. There are numbers scratched into the walls of the maze as well. Enough of that. I can see myself going crazy in a place like this. Ah, the Dunny. Oddly, there is no physical access to or from the city that surrounds the building. We know the building is up in Jateri, a nice district, but there is definitely no way to get in from the outside and vice versa. Not sure if Kadish sealed it up or if it always was, but I would bet the second idea. Makes it handy to limit access. If you don't have a book, you're not getting there. And that would explain why the books here were never destroyed or taken. That's it for now. I'll probably get back here again after checking Arcana and Anone. Path of the Shell was referenced in there, which is an expansion to Uru. So this may be something for later. We do have books here. And we do have the upstairs. And we went over there. I'm gonna go upstairs before going to those books. Oh, I'm wearing the shirt that I found. Wish I could see the front of it. Okay, so we've opened up a room. Take a picture of this. Can't take a picture of that. But what I'm noticing about this is it's almost like... Where is the... It's kind of weird. That looks centered well enough. Okay. While we're here, look at this. It's almost like a clock. Maybe not that one. I was thinking it would be related to that. I want to say it's related to this, except it's different enough. And I don't know if there's any way to interact with it. Okay. Well, we can leave there. And there's nothing else across the way. So let's head down. Back to these books. Okay. See something across the way here. Take a picture of that. Yeah, that's a little too skewed. That's a little bit better. Doesn't look like I can do anything with any of this stuff. Just splash around in the water. Splashy, splashy. And certainly this place will have a nice, easy way to return back to where we just were. Okay, this got big now. This got real big. I was not expecting it to be a whole ass thing. I thought I would just wrap up checking out these two small areas, but nope, surprise, it's one of those big ass areas. So we can call it for right now. Next time we will explore the rest of this area, see what else there is to find. We have that other book that'll take us somewhere else that we can explore. Then we can return to our hub and see if anything there in those books are worth paying attention to. Look back over our pictures and maybe finally solve a puzzle and see what that gets us. With that, I love ya. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.